Hello, Fight Nation. I'm Aaron. You know, the guy from Instagram who makes all the pretty pictures, and this is a fight show. The commercials leading up to UFC 192 posed one simple question.
Does size really matter?
Very clever marketing, UFC. That is the age-old question that has captivated fight fans and 13-year-old boys entering puberty for centuries. But it's also a question we saw play out in an unexpected way during UFC 192. We learned that size absolutely did matter for Big Rig Johnny Hendricks, whose hunger to regain his 170-pound belt unfortunately may have been overshadowed by his hunger for microwavable gas station sandwiches.
Tuesday he came in, he was 26 pounds overweight on Tuesday. That's a huge weight cut. We try to discourage those type of weight cuts, but you know, these guys run their own camps.
Yeah, no kidding, that's a huge weight cut. For context, that is the same amount of weight Tom Hanks had to lose for the 1993 movie Philadelphia to play a man dying of AIDS. But in Hendricks' case, it didn't lead to emotional courtroom drama, but rather a brutal weight cut and a hospital visit Thursday night. According to his manager, Hendricks is recovering well from kidney stones and an intestinal blockage, but unfortunately, his title shot was pronounced dead on arrival. Now, obviously I'm poking some fun, but before you ridicule Big Rig, you have to understand the unique mental torture that comes with cutting weight. Every cell in your body is screaming at you to eat, and in the midst of all this, you have to push yourself harder every single day than most people will at any point in their lives, and you have to do so while feeling like a worn-out, hollow husk of the person you used to be. Not unlike Tom Hanks in the movie Philadelphia, or Peter Ortiz in Bellator Dynamite. Now, if it sounds like I'm talking from personal experience about cutting weight, it's because I am. I'm over 6 feet tall and a chiseled, if not Sage Northcutt-esque 200 pounds, but I spent 3 months of my life walking around at 145. I can still remember being deep in a training session with a practice partner who was trying very hard to rip my head off, and meanwhile, all I could do was fantasize about the cup of sugar-free Jell-O I was going to eat when it was over. And that's a real tragedy, because the only time sugar-free Jell-O should be part of anyone's fantasy is when a children's swimming pool and UFC Octagon girl Brittany Palmer are also part of the equation. But kidding aside, weight cut can be a deadly business. In 1997, 3 collegiate wrestlers died in the span of 6 weeks from weight cuts gone wrong, prompting the NCAA to issue the statement, wait, what? Wait, wrestling's still a college sport? Somebody better look into that. Unfortunately, even with all the negatives, weight cutting will always be part of combat sports, and Hendricks is just one of many fighters to struggle with it. Some of you might remember Anthony Rumble Johnson once fought at a measly 170 pounds before missing weight for the 3rd time at UFC 142 and being cut from the organization. Now, luckily for Rumble, gamma radiation is not on the USADA banned substance list, and he had a great career resurgence. And I'm basically saying Rumble turned into the Incredible Hulk. Basically paint him green, do a couple down dogs while he's trying to lift, and you just saved $10 million on CGI for the next Avengers movie. You're welcome, Marvel! But where does that leave the UFC? Are we destined to see more fights canceled because a weight cut's gone wrong? I don't think so, and here's why. The UFC recently partnered with the United States Anti-Doping Agency to conduct their drug tests, and as a result, rehydrating intravenously is now banned. Now, when the IV ban was initially announced, a lot of fighters cried about it harder than a 5-year-old who just found out Dora the Explorer was canceled. And that's because for a lot of them, IVs constituted a pointy, saline-filled safety blanket. It allowed a lot of fighters to cut way down to the aforementioned dying of AIDS level, but still perform the next day. And in Johnny's case, IVs may have fed into the mindset, I'll eat this cheeseburger now and just do the Cormier sauna shuffle later to sweat it off.
Jumping jacks, fresh, fit. He can barely get it off.
He can barely talk.
He can barely get it off, and I'm in here fucking shadow boxing. Look at this guy. DC is the champ.
over here, saggy butt.
They didn't need Simpson to talk for him. Simpson's been losing that battle since 2001. Simpson's been battling me since 2000. Come on, man.
You're away from DC in his mouth.
My God, I'm starting to power up. It's fucking beta being in here.
Take away the safety blanket, suffer through a few cautionary tales like Johnny Hendricks at UFC 192, and I think we'll see more fighters who are a lot more disciplined with their diets and also fighting closer to their natural weights. So yes, size absolutely does matter in mixed martial arts, and sometimes, not unlike Roy Nelson at a hot dog eating contest, bigger really is better. Alright, Fight Nation, let's close this episode out strong with a rundown of everything you might have missed at UFC 192. Sage Northcutt made his UFC debut, and fight fans finally have an answer to the question, what would it be like if Bruce Lee was an Abercrombie & Fitch model? Rose Namajunas finished Angela Hill with a standing rear naked choke, giving us an entirely different reason to Google Rose Namajunas naked. Albert Tumanov displayed exceptional striking, KOing Alan Jobin in the first round. When reached for comment, Jobin said he was very disappointed but will try to distract himself from the setback with his starring role in Zoolander 2. Juliana Pena defeated Jessica Ai in a tough back-and-forth fight, then called out Ronda Rousey in the post-fight interview. I'd make a joke about this, but I think Amanda Nunes' Twitter response says it all. Ryan Bader showed vastly improved striking in his win over Rashad Evans and is reportedly joining Misha Tate and Joseph Benavidez' support group Straight Out Title Shots. And in the main event of the evening, Daniel D.C. Cormier and Alex the Mauler Gustafsson had an all-out war that was very reminiscent of the fight between Rocky and Apollo Creed. I mean, you know, like if Rocky was a 6'5" Swedish man and Apollo Creed was a stay-at-home dad. Well, that's it for this week. I'm Aaron, and this has been a fight show. Alright, here we go. And let's try that again. 3, 2, 1. That bodes well.